So the good news is that payments are now confirmed. There are actually 5 new ways for Americans like yourself to receive extra stimulus money from Congress, all before the end of 2022. So guys, keep in mind that 4 stimulus checks might be approved once President Biden signs this bill into law. So first we'll be talking about the stimulus checks, and then we'll be getting into Social Security benefits and the latest updates around that. Now, many families were relying heavily on the 2021 advanced child tax credit payments, but those came to a pause in December 15th, and what's good is that some stimulus programs remain for Americans that qualify. Some people in certain areas now have an opportunity to cash in on city or even state stimulus checks, on even something even called universal basic income. So many people will qualify for this, and it's worth checking out if you do qualify for universal basic income, which is basically monthly stimulus checks. And now thousands of stimulus checks will land on the doorsteps of qualifying California residents, all starting this week. This begins with the first round of the Golden State stimulus checks, worth up to $1,100 each. The stimulus checks are now meant to provide relief to low-income households and anyone that really needs more money. If you're a low-income household or are in need of a 4th stimulus check and live in the state of California, well, Gavin Newsom approved about $12 billion in crisis relief funds. This is all going to be sent out with the final round of the Golden State stimulus checks. All in all, around $575 million were sent out. Payments began in October and now will continue through January of this year, with the last round of aid being mailed out starting December 27th. So people now have a couple more days to get their stimulus checks via mail. The tax board also said those who receive a paper check should expect for it to take up to 3 weeks once they are sent. Some payments are going to need extra time for processing and accuracy. You must also have $1 to $75,000 of California adjusted gross income in order to qualify for this payment. The income part includes wages and self-employment income, and also interest and dividends and rental income. So you also need to be an eligible California resident and have filed your 2020 taxes by October 15th of 2021. So at least 9 million people are set to receive a state stimulus check before the end of 2021. If you file your tax return after September 1st, then allow up to 45 days after your tax return has been processed in order to get some stimulus money. And also, Californians may get another round of stimulus checks next year thanks to the $31 billion into surplus funds. And everybody, let's not forget about this. Americans in some states could be in line to receive an extra stimulus check worth up to $2,000 if they return to the workforce. The governors of Arizona and states like Kentucky were among the lawmakers to launch initiatives for residents to receive more relief money. For instance, the state of Maine, employees are offered a $1,500 payment if they return to work.
Security is contributing to our large deficit and national debt, etc., etc., etc. And you've also heard many Republicans tell us that we need to cut Social Security, raise the retirement age, or maybe even privatize the program. Well, I am happy to tell you that much of what you've heard is simply not true. Despite what many of my Republican colleagues are saying, let's be clear. Social Security is not going broke. Social Security has a $2.8 trillion surplus and, according to the Social Security Administration, can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 19 years. That is not a program going broke. Further, Social Security is independently funded by the payroll tax, the 6.2% of your paycheck that you and your employer pay. That means that Social Security does not add 1 nickel to the deficit. It has its own source of funding. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that the Republicans forgot to pay for added trillions to the deficit and national debt, not Social Security. Now, the truth is that while we do not have a Social Security crisis today, we do have a retirement crisis, and that is a very serious problem.